You know what? I'm not gonna yap too much. Let's just start. And these are the best VR games of 2026. Starting with number 10, Deadpool VR. This one honestly surprised me more than I expected. It's still pretty new, but it already feels very confident in what it wants to be. It's loud, chaotic, constantly breaking the fourth wall, and somehow that just works really well in VR. Deadpool as a character fits this format almost perfectly. The jokes, the commentary, the way the game keeps acknowledging that you're standing there with a headset on. It all feels very intentional. There's a lot of variety here too. Unlockable suits, weapon skins, little side moments, and even some music cues that genuinely stood out to me. It's not a perfect game. Some sections drag on a bit longer than they need to, but I was pretty much always having fun while playing it. And even now, it's actually really good. If you like Deadpool at all, this is a really easy one to recommend. And now at number 9 we have the 7th Guest VR. And this is a game I never thought I'd enjoy as much as I did. This is a remake of a very old title, but it works surprisingly well in VR. The focus here isn't action, it's atmosphere and puzzles. The house feels unsettling, the pacing is slow, and there's this constant sense that something just isn't right. What really makes it stand out is the mix of live action performances with VR environments. It gives the whole experience a very strange, almost theatrical vibe that you don't see very often in VR games. Okay, I can breathe. Um, if you enjoy puzzle games and a strong sense of mood, this one is absolutely worth playing. Now let's go to number 8, and there we have Arken Age. Well, this is a great example of how a more complex VR game can work on a standalone hardware without feeling compromised. Wait, do you say compromised or compromised? Okay, it doesn't matter. Well, the combat here is very physics driven. You probably saw that if you ever saw this game somewhere, which gives you a lot of control. Yeah, there are many games like this, but this one is a special one. This one is really special with the physics. And there's a strong sense of progression through weapons and upgrades. There are large environments to explore, big boss fights, and the game just feels good to play. What impressed me most is how well it holds up visually and mechanically on Quest. If you're looking for a combat-focused VR game with a fantasy setting, this one is really good, and I recommend it really. Now at number 7 we have Madison VR, and this is where things start to get genuinely uncomfortable. Well, that's because this is a horror game. And this horror game relies much more on tension than cheap scares. You're stuck in a cursed house, you will slowly solve puzzles, but you will never really know when something is about to happen. Yeah, and I mean that, okay? Don't forget this. But this game is really cool. But, a lot of the time, nothing happens at all. And that's what makes it so effective. When the scares do hit, they hit hard. Because you're never fully relaxed, bro. If you're looking for a truly scary VR horror experience, then Madison is not an easy game to forget. Number 6 is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Well, this game has been around for a while now, but it still holds up incredibly well. And honestly, that says a lot. What makes Saints and Sinners special isn't just the zombies, it's the tension. Every time you leave your base, you're making small decisions that slowly start to matter more and more. Do you stay a bit longer to grab supplies, or do you leave now and play it safe? Well, that's what I thought. I had to decide, okay? And that constant pressure is what makes this game work so well in VR. The combat here feels great. Weapons have weight. Every swing feels deliberate. And the game never lets you forget that resources are limited. If you want a VR game that really understands atmosphere, pacing, and physical interaction, Saints and Sinners is still one of the best examples out there. Now let's go to number 5, and there we have the Light Brigade. or Light Brigade. I don't know. Well, at first glance, this game might look like just another VR roguelike. But once you actually spend some time with it, it becomes clear why so many people keep coming back. The gunplay feels excellent, the sound design is incredibly satisfying, and each run feels just different enough to stay interesting. What I really like about the Light Brigade is how it rewards you for learning, not just upgrades, but understanding the weapons, the pacing, and how far you can push each one before things fall apart. It's one of those games where you start playing just for a bit and suddenly way more time has passed than you expected. Now let's go to Walkabout Minigolf. Well, this game shows up on pretty much every best of your list for a reason. On the surface, it's very simple. It's a very simple idea. Mini golf in VR. But the execution is nearly perfect. So the physics feel right, the courses are well designed, and the whole experience is just very relaxing. It works incredibly well as a multiplayer game, but it's also great solo. If you just want something calm to unwind with. Well, I played it solo. That's why I can say that. I also played with some friends. It's okay. No, it's not okay. It's one of those VR games that feels timeless and it's easy to recommend to absolutely anyone, no matter how experienced they are with VR. That was a good rhyme. And now at number 3 we have a classical, I don't know. Well, we have now Batman Arkham Shadow. Well, this game does a really good job of making you feel like a Batman. The combat feels heavy and deliberate. The stealth works surprisingly well in VR, and the environments are full of detail. Walking through dark corridors, watching shadows stretch across the walls, it all adds to the atmosphere in a way that feels very intentional. Well, you can tell the developers have a lot of respect for the Arkham series, because this doesn't feel like a side project or a gimmick. If you've ever wanted to properly step into the role of Batman in VR, then this game delivers on that little fantasy. And now, the game that I am currently playing, it's Asgard's Wrath 2. Well, this is a game I think people moved on from way too quickly. It's a massive VR RPG with a huge amount of content, large areas to explore, and combat that gives you a lot of freedom in how you approach fights. It doesn't feel like a small VR experiment, it feels like a full scale game that just happens to be in virtual reality. From big set piece moments to quieter exploration, it constantly pushes what standalone VR hardware can handle. So if you're looking for a game that you can sink dozens of hours into, Asgard's Wrath 2 is one of the most substantial experiences available on the Quest. And now finally guys, at number 1 we have Resident Evil 4 VR. Oh, this is the last one, right guys? Well, if you stood till here, then I'm pretty happy. And thank you. Yes, thank you very much. So this is one of the best games ever made, okay? And playing it fully in VR somehow makes it even better. The pacing, the gunplay, the physical interactions, everything just feels natural in a way that's hard to explain. Well, until you try it yourself. Even after years of its release, this game still feels like the benchmarks of what a proper VR conversion should look like. It doesn't feel like a novelty or a side version. It feels like a definitive way to play the game. So if you own a Quest headset and haven't played Resident Evil 4 in VR yet, then this is easily the strongest recommendation I can make. So if you're new to VR, I hope this helped you to find the experiences that really showed you what you can do on your headset. Thank you very much for watching and have a good time. Also, don't forget to drink water.